I'm back with another video. This is going to be a restaurant build. Now, I know that a few of you do enjoy these builds, so I wanted to make sure that I had a few of them ready for when I went away to England. Which actually may sound really strange to some people because I get so many comments saying, hang on a second, aren't you from England? That does not mean that every English person has to stay in England. I can't believe I've been getting those comments. But honestly, it's absolutely fine. And you know, I am excited to be moving back. I currently live in Germany, so it's going to be a change for me to move back to England. But anyway, I wanted to do this build because this is like a pre-recorded thing. So this has been sat in my catalogue for a really long time, and I've had a few questions about when I'm going to be releasing the Indian-inspired restaurant because I put pictures of it on Twitter. I've been saving up these builds specifically for the move, so I'd have so much content when I went away, and this just happens to be one of the houses. So it's actually one of my favourite restaurants. I don't know how everyone else is going to think of this. You might find that it's your least favourite or something. It may be, because everyone has like a different idea of the sort of builds that you enjoy playing with. But for me, I really like cultural builds. I don't know what it is, but an Indian inspired restaurant would just be a fantastic let's play for me. I would love that, and I might not do a let's play of this build, but it's definitely going to be used as a current household build because I will use this build in like my own gameplay just because I've already created a storyline. Like whilst I was building this, I was already thinking about the type of family I would want living here, and I came up with this really weird plot. And what I will do is I'll put the Sims on the Sims 4 gallery along with this build so you could use it together if you want to. Now the idea is that we're going to have like a man who's going to be really hard working. He's just like ridiculously hard working at what he does, and he has a really demanding wife. So the demanding wife's pretty much taken over with all the interior in this house, and she's turned it all into like looking really girly so that she can have her friends round and take advantage of the beautiful business that they have, and she really doesn't do much work. And in my own gameplay, this is what's going to happen. She is also going to have a love affair with pretty much every single person that comes into the restaurant, just because I love drama. And yeah, I mean, if you watch my Let's Plays already, then you can imagine how crazy my own gameplay would actually be. But yeah, that is just like what I've got going at the moment. I mean, if you would like me to do like a mini series of this build using family, then let me know because I could definitely do that. I mean, I don't know how long it would be. Maybe not very long, but it could definitely be a little bit of fun. Anyway though, I decided to put in a little garden. Now the idea for that would be that it would fit into the landscaping around Oasis Springs. It's actually a really strange world because it does go from a desert to greenery. I don't really get it. I've never got this world. Another thing as well, I figured out that with the sky, for some reason in Oasis Springs, it doesn't move like it does in every other world. So I don't know if that's purposeful, but that surprised me. We have some dodgy landscaping going on at this point, by the way. I don't know what I was thinking, but I really can't judge because it was like 2 to 3 months ago when I built this. So I guess my landscaping style was completely different. I feel like I have improved a lot in the last 2 to 3 months, and I've done so many builds in between then, but I still love this restaurant. Like, it's got to be one of my favourite restaurants. And also the name of it is actually inspired by my favourite Indian restaurant. I visit this place. It's actually called the Karishma restaurant, and it's in Devon. So it's right by where my parents live, and oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Like, the food there is just phenomenal. And yeah, I mean, it's in France. I probably should have mentioned that, but it's just a really nice place to go. It's also very purple, but I did not get inspired by the family that own it. I don't even know the family that own it. I just thought that it would be a really good idea if I put my own slant on it, made a new family up, and I'm not too creepy to be able to model every single family off just like a random family in real life. I wonder if anyone's done that. I don't know. Sometimes in my Let's Plays, I do have characters that are inspired by real people, but whether I would create a whole family of real people and then play with them, I mean, I know that some people use their houses, for instance, their actual families, which is fine, like, I get that. But what if you created just some random family that you know and played along with them as their life? I don't know. How creepy would that be? I don't know, like everyone plays differently. I think that's a little bit too far, but you know, everyone's gonna play differently. Let me know how you like to play though in the comments below, because I always find it really interesting, and for me, I always like to have these really wacky storylines, and the stranger the better for me. So if I can make the stories just really odd and maybe a little bit supernatural as well, like I like to have some supernatural stuff in there, so yeah, that is what I tend to do. Anyway, this is going to be the wife's garden. So she is going to have, like, I guess, that being the place where she seduces all the customers. How nasty is this, though? I mean, I do like playing with these storylines that do have a little bit of darkness to them. I mean, it's not going to be a happy home. That's not me. I also know that some people do like to play with houses that are just, like, ridiculously happy. No, I couldn't. There'd have to be some sort of drama. Oh yeah, there's also a picture of the woman if you looked really, really quickly. So the idea was to put loads of pictures around the restaurant of the woman as well that I created. But I decided against it because for some reason in The Sims 4, it does mark paintings as custom content if you put them in yourself, which I didn't really understand. So I hope that that's not something that's going to stick around for good. It seems like they're marking everything as custom content. I mean, it did get a little bit out of control though, because we had this Sims 4 tray importer a while ago. It caused a lot of drama, but it was this program that you could change the gallery photos on. So all you had to do was install it, and then you could just import your own pictures and you could change your own gallery thumbnails, which was really helpful. Like, especially if you are a YouTuber who's maybe just starting out, who sort of wants their links put on the pictures, which is a really cool idea. Like, that's what I did, and I loved doing that because it meant that the people that would see my creations on the Sims 4 gallery would be able to find me really easily on YouTube. But basically, it went through a really, really good phase of everybody using it to, I think, like an okay standard. Like, EA were okay with it, as long as the pictures were only slightly edited and maybe, I guess there was a little bit of text, but I don't know if they're okay with the text. I think when things started to go completely out of control was when people started to use Sims 3 content, take screenshots of it and put it into The Sims 4. There are also some like ridiculous pictures of people putting copyright things over their creations, saying, if you re-upload this, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to put a copyright strike against you. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, it just got to the point where I think that EA said that it was against their standards. And I agree. Like, I think that if people take advantage of it, I think that the pictures, just like putting random pictures up of a Sims creation, slightly edited with like maybe a little bit of text just to advertise your YouTube channel or something, I think that's fine. But I think that when it's starting to add some seriousness to the gallery, like copyright stuff and I guess content which isn't accurate, it's not like an accurate representation of what you're downloading, that can get pretty scary. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw a Sims 3 pony on a photo, which absolutely puzzled me. But it was a lot of fun while it lasted, but that's why a lot of creations get marked as custom content through the tray importer. But it was a program that I absolutely love to use. So don't get me wrong, I was absolutely obsessed with it when it came out, and yeah, I loved it for my own creations. It really gave that extra effect. Anyway though, for this build, I was happy to be able to do the interior because I had so many ideas of it. The actual Karishma restaurant has all these separated areas that just make everything so romantic and just private as well. Like, it's actually the perfect place to have a business meeting because you can just have it being so private there and nobody can spy on what you do. I feel like it would be really awkward to have a business meeting where people can listen to you. It was really odd, but I actually found that there was like this sort of business meeting private chat going on in Starbucks one time. And I was working as a nanny at this point, so I was actually with the child that I was looking after. And I remember we just sat down and we had just the most amazing time just listening to this conversation on the next table. It was just great. But yeah, I would imagine that privacy is key. When I do build restaurants in The Sims 4 though, I really do like to have privacy anyway. And it's just one of my favorite things to do. And that is partially because I feel like with creating a space which makes the table a lot more private, it just spaces everything out a bit and still makes it look like a restaurant. One of my biggest fears with The Sims 4 is just having too many tables, because I've done that. Trust me, no one turns up. I don't know if it's just me. It's like the party that no one wanted to go to. It's just crazy. So, I mean, every time I used to open my restaurant, like when I was playing the game myself, I'm actually really excited to use build. But anyway, yeah, so every single time I'd open it, nobody would turn up, or like minimal people would turn up. There'd be like 1 or 2 people in the restaurant. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna space everything out. So there's like 2 tables on the inside. But the main idea though is the fact that those tables aren't really going to get used. It's gonna be the outdoor ones that are, just because I think they look so pretty. Also, what I'm doing at this point is it's starting to look really ugly in my opinion. So I did actually change that, because this was all from like 2 months ago, and the last part of the interior was, I think, maybe a couple of days ago. I mean, it's really weird though, because when you're watching this, it's going to be a completely different time, so everything's going to be different. But yeah, like a couple of days ago, from when I'm recording it, that's when I did the interior. But I had so much fun going back to it. It wasn't finished. I think I got pretty much up to this point when I decided to redo stuff. And that was because I just felt like it would be so much better going into this build with like a clearer view. Sometimes I do leave my builds a very long time before I go into doing their interiors. And I think it's just because I like to build up ideas. I like to think about inspiration, pictures, things like that. I also do know that this wouldn't be a very typical Indian restaurant, I think. I did try to go with like the really bold colours, and we do get a lot of things which do complement the Indian style with the new stuff packs that we've got, things like that. Because I felt like when I was looking online, a typical Indian posh, like expensive restaurant would be just very brightly coloured and beautiful. But it's really difficult in The Sims 4 because a lot of the colours are just really strange and a lot of stuff doesn't match. So, I mean, I hope it goes. I really do, but it's just supposed to be like an exotic restaurant, so I hope it's okay. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but I think it's all about the food. Like, as long as you follow it food-wise, it should be okay. And yeah, I do like the idea that it just looks very old and ancient as well, even though it probably wouldn't even be, but I just think it's interesting. So the curtains had like a massive impact on this build. I just used so many. And I hope you also like the front logo of the build. That's something that I did experiment with at the start, which I didn't really talk about. I probably should have done, but that was one of my favourite parts. But yeah, anyway, at this point, I was just adding some random stuff to the hallway. I was just trying to make it look a little bit over the top, so it's got some like statues there and stuff, just because I really like statues. I do. They also creep me out though, and a really weird story. Okay, so where I live at the moment in Germany, I live near Paderborn. A lot of people ask like, where do you live? I want a specific house number. No, I live near Paderborn, and it's like this town which is like on the outskirts. And it's so strange because there's this woman in town, and I speak about her like she's almost real. She is not real, but she's a statue of like an old lady sat down, and it's so creepy. The strangest thing for me though is I completely convinced myself that she was real. I thought that she was. I thought that she was one of these people that act for a living and they pretend to be completely still, then they come alive. No. So that was very creepy for me to find out, but I think it's difficult without showing you a photo. I'll try and find one at some point. But it's just very creepy. But my favourite sort of statues are gargoyles and just like monster statues. I don't even know why. I just really like gargoyles. I think if I was ever going to create a statue myself, it'd be of a monster. Just because I really like monsters. But anyway, I started doing the kitchen at this point. Moving on. So this kitchen was supposed to be pretty basic. I wanted to do something that just blended in, was there to the side. Kitchens are really not supposed to be the main part of, I think, a tourist attraction, like when you're going to a restaurant. Is it even a tourist attraction? No. Pretty sure the definition of tourist attraction is when you go somewhere like country-wise. I'm going to get people in the comments now saying, actually, I can correct you there. No, I honestly have no idea, but I wanted to do something in the kitchen that would just be really plain, because I don't think that the kitchen is a particularly special part. Of course, you've got to have the basics there, but to be able to fit in and look realistic, I don't feel like the kitchen would be very nice to look at. in my opinion. If I had a restaurant, the kitchen is the last thing that I would fork out on. Honestly, I would spend all the money that I get from the restaurant just into the decorations, into everything. So there we go. Anyway, this room in here was for the wife and her friends to enjoy the piano. So yeah, you could definitely hire a piano player. I really like having exclusive restaurants to the point where you could hire entertainers and singers and bar staff just to give the people that go to the restaurant a little bit of an extra experience. Now, I don't know if the Sims will remember this. Probably not. It's actually really sad. I wish we had a storybook Sims 4 book. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I wish it was like a book that we could have where the Sims would get memories, and that would be really interesting for me just because I loved that sort of feature in The Sims 3, and I'm hoping for that, but we don't know what we're going to get. That's the problem. As much as we say stuff to the team, we say we really want this thing, and the thing is, so many polls have been done as well of like people wanting different things. The most popular things, it just puzzles me. Anyway though, this is a bar area outside. Something that I really like to have with the posh exclusive restaurants are little wedding venues, because I like the idea of a family coming to a restaurant, getting married, and then sitting down to have a nice meal. So I feel like that does reappear again, but we will just have to see. If not, there is usually a wedding venue in the builds that I do, just because I really like to have that. But an idea has just came to me. If you want me to do a less expensive build, maybe a takeaway place, if you wanted me to do like a McDonald's or something, I don't know if that would be really looked down upon. I don't know. I personally don't go to McDonald's a lot, but I sometimes treat myself and I go. And I have one of those coffee frappuccinos that they do. I love those to bits. It's so annoying though, because I swear they see me coming sometimes and they just outright say, do you know what, we've stopped doing them. So it's really annoying. And also where I live, there's a massive language barrier, so I never know what I'm gonna get. I could say cafe frappe to them and they would not know what I was going on about. And it's like the same thing on the menu. I don't get it. Like if I was even to point to the thing on the menu and say to the people that work there, I really would like this thing, no, absolutely not getting it. I'll probably get something completely different, which to be fair usually happens. Anyway, I was on to the upstairs. Something that I do also like to do is put in a little sleeping place for the family, so that if you are too lazy to use the loading screen, which I am actually one of these people that fit into this category, I like to use a plot as much as possible just because I do not like loading screens. So I would tend to stay on a plot for a few extra hours just so I don't have to go through that. Well, I still will, but I just won't have to go through that immediately. I can just hold it back for a bit, so that is what I do there. And yeah, it makes it really handy if you want to have a live-in place with this restaurant. You could expand it, of course. You could have loads of stuff up here if you wanted to. You could have like a storage area if you wanted to. It really just depends on what you want. This could also be the wedding venue if you like wanted to change this around. You could do some really creative things with it. And if you do, please let me know, because honestly, I love to know what you all do after I put things on the Sims 4 gallery. I always check under the hashtag Hatsy, Hatsy Homes, LP Witches, and Hatsy Wizards. Also, I think I did one with Hatsy Twitch live stream. I think it would have probably been different though. I can't remember, but I do check those hashtags. It's really nice to see things put on there. And yeah, if you get inspired by a build that I do, I would love to see what you come up with, and I would love to see the build. Even if it's like a picture on Twitter or something, you can just tweet me and I will reply, most likely. I'm always on Twitter, so there's absolutely no excuse for me not to. Anyway, this is the bathroom. The bathroom was massive compared to the bathroom downstairs. I think there was a bathroom downstairs. I hope there was. That would be really bad if I didn't put a bathroom downstairs, and if I didn't, I'm so sorry. I honestly can't remember. But anyway, this area finished off with like a seating area, and there was like a TV place. This main idea would be that the wife that I'm going to use in my private family, she's going to have this really fancy bedroom, like an open bedroom, and then in the corner, her husband's just going to sleep by himself. I feel so bad. I honestly do. But no, I always like to start off with the most unfortunate storyline beforehand, just because that's the sort of player I am. Everyone plays differently. That is how I play. But anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I will speak to you sometime soon.